Masechta Zevachim, Daf Ayin Daled Amud Aleph. 4 lines from the top. Okay. We're starting now from the 4th line, and we're going to talk about Taruvis. Like this parak is called Taruvis. In some of the we call it, even though it's Zevachim, they call it the parak Taruvis. Anyway, Rav Nachman said in the name of Rav Baravu, in the name of Rav, a ring that was used for idol worship. And it got mixed up with a whole bunch of different rings, which weren't good rings, motaristic rings. And from those rings, one, by mistake, he's doing the ring, one fell out in the yam, fell out in the sea, in the big sea. Huta kulam. All of them became mutter. Why? The nafal, hainu the yisuda. The one that fell is the yisur. We had a very similar case yesterday. I want to tell it to you. He's probably going to say it again. But there was many heads of animals. Amongst them, there was a head of an animal that was not good. It was a head of an animal that was a balmum. It was missing a limb and a mum in it. And it's mixed with all the other heads. But so lechatchila, you're not allowed to put it on the mizbeach. It's asa. But the guy already put it on. So we say a mum, a head of a mumdik animal.
It was an
Oila, sure, it was an oila. So once he put it up, the guy did it already. We say, that's the one that had the mum, and the rest of the we could be marked. Same thing here. The one that fell into the sea, that's the one that's answer, and the rest is good. Rabbi asked the question. We're going to get to it soon. You're jumping so fast. Okay, so we're going to get there. His head is working. Okay. Rabbi asked the question about Nachman. Even if it's 1 in 10,000, this is what we learned in the Mishnah before. If one behema, like, you remember the chatois hamesos, those chatois, I'll give you one example. A shoy haniskel has to get killed. One more example, chatois hamesos are somebody designated a chatos, and the owner died before he can be makabid. What do we do with that behemoth? We have to kill it. It got mixed up with a whole bunch of good animals. It's not butter. We got to kill all of them. So that's what we learned in the Mishnah, right? In fact, why? When one behemoth, the first behemoth dies, what do you do? What do you do with the behemoths? You don't actually kill it. You let them die. You're hungry. You starve them. You starve them. No, pasture until they get a bone. But over here, when you say Yamusa Kulam, you leave them all in the pen till they drop dead. Until they die out. So the first one that dies out, we say, that's the one. That's the Yisur. Then let's stop feeding the rest. My name of the mis, Isur mis, say the one that died is the one that was also, and the rest should be good. Amalei, so Rav Nachman said back to Rabba, kid Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi holds like Rabbi Elazar. It's not that we learned the Mishnah. Rabbi Elazar, amen. You remember I told you this case with the heads of a bunch of oils that got mixed up, and one head belonged to a balmum goof, body of an animal, and he already put it on. So what do we say? Yikvil kol haroshim kulam. We said once one went in, we are marking all of them, right?
That's if one fell by itself. Are you allowed to take one out of them?
No, we're going to learn about that very soon also. So our Mishnah says that all the behemoths should die. And here we said by the ring, we don't kill
it. By the heads also.
And by the heads we also, by the heads we say, the one marking, then all of them are good. You can be marking the rest. So we said, this man the one that spoke about the rings, if one fell out, and the rest are going to be mutter, because we're going to rely that the one that fell into the ocean was the one that's usher.
So we say things with the head.
No, but we asked from our Mishnah, it's not a Zevachim is not bottle. You said it yourself. Zevachim is not bottle.
I'm saying
by the Shvarim. So by the Shvarim, in our Mishnah, we said it's not bottle. So why over here is a bottle? Here you say if one fell in, you're going to rely on that Isa. Why don't we?
One coin is
right. It's not so Zevachim.
A ring. We're not talking about a coin. A ring.
But even a ring. It doesn't have to be.
We're talking about rings. No, not going with you. We're talking about,
No,
okay.
but
So it said
a stam wedding band
But
is not the
obviously, we're
double
talking about this in similarity to the Shmarim
Okay.
of our Mishnah. But our Mishnah, we didn't say this. Why did we use the same concept? That when we let them die, the first one that dies, we should say, that's it, this is gone. And the rest should be mutter. Our Mishnah says no. So who's this Mishnah following with the rings? So he says he follows. He said, no, we're not talking about it's separated.
No,
It's
within
all-
within the side he says within the pen.
Yeah, but Bakavua means he came out. Anyway, Rabbi Lezer, over here, Rabbi Lezer is the one that this mission of the rings follow. Rabbi Lezer spoke about the heads, remember? And by the heads, he did say that the one that he was already marked, that was the Isser.
Yeah.
That's who the Mishnah of the rings is following, not our Mishnah. Okay. Says Gemara, Rabbi Lezer, you bring Rabbi Lezer? Rabbi Lezer, Lahita Rabbi Lezer, Eloshnayim Shnayim. Rabbi Lezer said, listen, when one ring, by one head, that they were makiv, right? The next heads, they're not going to let you right away be makiv the next head. It can only be two at a time. Because if it's one, we have to always worry that one is mamashisa. You need, besides that one is already gone, but you always have to bring two to be able, it's not enough to be mat all of them. You need the svara when you bring two. For sure, one is good between the two because there was only one animal that had a mum.
But you can't do one after another?
You can do one and one and one. It has to come in pairs. And you say amigo because this one for sure is good, so probably the other one is good. We use that svara. You understand what I just said? There's
No,
only
yeah,
one
no, you
animal
can say
that had a
one.
mum.
Right.
No,
So besides the fact that one is out, and you could say that's the Isur,
Still need a pair
you
for it.
still need another svara to be matir. What's going to be the
Okay.
svara? You come with two. And between two, one for sure is not from the Balmum, maybe one is. But we say, since this one is good, this amigo, it's called amigo. Since this one is good, we'll say this one is good. So together,
No, and you say
the
one
one
is bad. We say one is bad, but the other one is sure good. If you sell two.
no, we said that's not what we want to bring out. We want to say the one that went on the Mizbeach is the one. That's the Isser. Now we want to be able to be marked the rest. He says you could. But you need an additional suffix to weaken it even more by taking two together, saying, hey, one of them for sure is good. And we say, Migu, just since this one, one of them is for sure
But you
good.
were
So we
marked
say,
already one separate.
one was already Hakrava, but he says
That we're
that's not
sure,
enough.
100% of
Right, so it's not enough. So therefore he says bring two. The svara of Migu, since one of them for sure is good, we say the other one is good.
It's amigo,
So-
right?
right, it's called Amigo. So I'm a lay, so Rav Nachman said to Rabba, I know Tati Kamin also. When I said, when I brought down this din of Rav about the rings, that when one ring fell in, the rest of the rings are good, is only if you sell them two at a time, not one. Okay. Says Gemara, Amar Rav Yehuda, or Amar Rav Yehuda said the name Amar Rav, Tabas shall Avdicham, a tabas of idol worship, Shem Zabe b'mei tabois, that got mixed up with 100 rings. And he made it two trays. There's three trays altogether. You had a tray that had 100 rings. He took out 40 and he put it in another tray. Let's separate the trays on two sides. 60 and 40. Here's another tray. We'll call it, this tray has 20. So he says, if
What do you see 20 here?
no, there's a third tray. We're going to bring that out in a second. I'm giving a
there's
number of
120.
rings that were in the third tray, but the ones that the one that had the Avodah Zarah in it, it was between 100. He took that 100 and he split it 60-40 into two trays.
It's really 101.
101. That's a one day. It says it has to be milavar. Yes, one.
One because the one that
Has to be butter.
fell into
Yeah,
that
yeah,
tray
yeah.
of 100.
So so he took that 100 and divided it into 60-40. Now we're going to talk about, there's a third tray here with a couple of rings. I'm going to give a number 20. So if the ring came from the 60, from the rave, we say everything is usher. It got mixed up, this third tray is usher. But if the ring came from the 40, we say it's going to be mutter.
Why?
Oh, we're going to get to it. Let's say
What's the reason?
that's the case. The Gemara is going to say the reasoning. Let me do one at a time. Let me say the case. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, Tabash Alad Zevachim Shnesav Mei Tabais.
Yeah.
He got mixed up with 100 rings. Ufar Shabayim Lamakim Echad. He took 40, separated to one tray. With Shishim Lamakim Echad, 60 to another tray. Parsha Achas Ma'abayim, if one ring came out of the 40 of the 40 taboyes
And what'd you do with it?
and it fell into the third tray, Ein Asadas, it doesn't answer that third tray. But
in other words, we didn't have yet anything falling into anywhere.
no. Now one will fall either from the tray of 60 or from the tray of 40 into a third tray.
Oh, so 1 second. What happened? What happened to the ring of Tabasa Baboidis Kachavim?
Yeah,
We
it
don't know
was in the
before.
100.
It was in the 100.
We
then the
split
100
it.
got
Okay,
split.
so
60,
some-
40.
It could be in the 40. It could be in the
In the
60.
60,
So if
correct.
it came from the 60,
Usually
still,
it's in the
also.
60. We say it's in the right. That's what we're going to talk about soon. But meanwhile, let's talk about 60, 40. I didn't answer you yet, your question, but that's really the answer. And there's a third tray. So if the ring fell from the 40 into the 20, we'll call it the third tray of 20,
I don't know how it's 20. It should be empty.
That means you
or
take, how do
there
you
was
feel-
20. No, there were some rings. It says it got mixed up with
Oh,
other
you mean
rings.
that it fell into
Then it wasn't
before.
100.
60, 40 was separated.
So what do you mean it fell into the middle?
Now, from this 60-40 split, if the ring came out of the 40 tray,
How did it come out?
it fell.
Another time there's a fall.
Never
Fell
fell
off the top
before.
of
This
the-
is the first time it's falling.
But you say there was already
Originally, they separated it into two.
But already a Tabasha like fell in.
Fell into 100.
So you had 101 already.
101. They
Okay.
split it 60-40.
Okay.
That's where we're up to.
Okay.
If one
one.
ring now fell from the 40 into a third tray where there was 20, it's not usher. If the ring would have fallen from the 60 tray, it is usher.
What do you mean if it would? If we
If
take
that's
it,
no, it fell, whatever. Okay, let's say it inside. So he says, "Shenisam beitabah." So Parsha Abel Malkamach, Shishim Lamakamacha, Parsha Achas Ma'abayim. If one from the 40 fell in, ain't I said us, it doesn't answer it. Achas Mishishim, but if it fell one from the 60 tray, he says
what
it
do you mean it
answers
fell?
it.
Maybe you went and put it into the middle tray.
He put it in. Okay, it's the same thing.
Why would it-
Because I don't want to say he put it in because you're going to be mevatala isl chatchila.
But he doesn't know
By
if it's an
taking it
issur.
from the 40. By taking it from the 40. Okay, Frank.
What he does, he takes one for the 40 and puts it in, one for the 60 and puts it in.
No, he
So the
took
40,
either
you
one.
know-
Don't mix it. You make a whole challenge. Either he took one from the 40, which would then the third tray would be mutter. But if he took one from the 60, it will be usher.
The whole 60, the 60 part.
Not the 60, the third tray.
Oh.
Okay, Zakti, what am I shna? Achma aboyim de loy. What's the difference if he took from the 40 and he put it into the third tray? We say it's not going to be Asa. I mean, we're saying the Isser is in the Rave in the 60. It's not in the 40. So when from the 40 came into the third tray, it's tired. We say the Gemara, Achas Mishishim Nami Aminin. Say when the one came out of the 60, right? So, but how much is left when one comes out of the 60? 59. It's still a majority. Say the Isa is there, and the third tray should be Mutter. Isura Beruba Isa. Say the Isa still remains in the 59. Says Gemara Allah, surely in Pasha Abayim Kulun Makim Echad. In Ein Oises. I'm sorry. Aval in Parsha Shishim Lamakim Echad, but if Shishim, the whole Shishim went to another place, Oises will be all Aser. So what is he saying?
so he's
That the
changing
case
his
is
tone.
changing.
His tone.
He's saying, what does it mean? Not one from the 40 came in. The whole 40 fell into the third tray. That makes him to Svek Sveika. Why? Because number one, who says in the 40 there was even an Isa?
Right.
And if you're taking out of now this 40 that came into the 20 that had no Isa whatsoever, maybe this ring is coming from the original 20. So it's a Svek Sveika. But by the Shishim falling in to the second tray, it's only one suffix. It's for sure. Either there is a Isa. It's either the original or there's a Isa. So Kamrida Kamed and Shmuel, when they came before the Shmuel, Amali, Shmuel said to me, Hanach la'avet tzichabim. He says, Sveiku svek sveika, asur ad sefer halam. He says, what are you talking about? The 40 comes in, even though it's a svek sveika, the halacha is that something, a davar chashiv, or avodah zara, which is so severe, is never bottled, even by a svek sveika. What are you trying to get out with a svek sveika that should be mutter? There's no such a thing. Like, really? A svek sveika by avodah zara we're not lenient? Makes affecting akasha. From a brayso it says beferish that svek sveika, even when you're dealing with an item that was used for idol worship, is going to be bottle if it's a svek sveka. Where do we see that? A goblet that was used for avodah zara. It fell into a warehouse or storage of many other goblets which were not avodah zara. Kulan asurim, they all are aser. Pirush echad mehem. What's if he took one from that oitzer where the goblet of avodah zara was in, and he put it into l'riboy, into 10,000 other cases which are mutter.
Or somewhere else.
Huh?
Somewhere else.
A new pile, yes. May riboy, and then one from that 10,000, this is the second pile, fell in l'riboy to another, not l'riboy to another, he doesn't want to say, now he's going to say 10,000. L'riboy into another 10,000. One fell into another 10,000.
From the 10,000 to the 10,000?
10,000. One.
Yeah,
Only one.
Okay.
Mutar. Why? Because it's a svek sveka, right? It fell in, the one that fell into the first pile is a suffix. And from the second pile to the third pile is a suffix. First of all, who says it's coming from the original pile? Where this the first suffix was that the first one fell into the first pile. Not necessarily it was the goblet from avodah zara. Now from the second pile you have two problems. First of all, the first one we don't even know if it was ever avodah zara, and if the one that fell could have been not from that case, it could have been from the original second pile where there was nothing usher. So it says it's mutter. Says you want to tanoi. It's a machlekes of tanoi. So you see even avodah zara helps. Says you want to tanoi. It's a machlekes of tanoi. In the Tanya that we learned in the Braisa, Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, Himonei badam. These are one of the 6 things that are not so chashuv. It's a davar shabaminyan that's not bottle. It was big pomegranates from there's a city called Badam. Oisim b'chol it's asers, even one Himonei badam could ask 10,000. If it's of truma and it got mixed up with a whole bunch of chulin, all of them are aser. Ketzad. Nafal ech mehem l'sech riboy. One pomegranate fell into 10,000. One of truma fell into 10,000. And now umei riboy, and from this 10,000, l'riboy fell into another 10,000. One fell into from the second pile. Asurin, they're all aser. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda.
All aser. We said before it's a svek sveka.
Right. So we said so we're answering machlekes of tanoim. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda, Mishum Reb Shimon, that if the first 3 mine fell into 10,000, then asurin umeriboy l'shleisha. But what's now from the riboy from the second pile, which is 10,000, fell into a pile of 3, just 3 remaining. So is the Gemara. And from those 3 fell into another one that was 1 against 1, which wasn't a reiv. It's going to be mutter. No, the third one is already. He's showing you the third pile was mutter. If it was 3 against 1. We said it was mutter. First one fell into 10,000. From the 10,000 fell into the group of 3, which was a group of 3. No, to the riboy l'shleisha, the group of the 3, still a reiv, and we say that now it's mutter. So now I don't care what happens.
No, you don't need 10,000. It just says 3 alone.
3 is already reiv, and then he says if from this fell into a non-reiv, 1 against 1, it's fine. So you see, svek sveka, it's mutter. So you see, it's a machlekes tanoim. So it's not a stira. It's this one holds like this tana. And the what Shmuel holds like the Tana that says that the if you want to say like Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says it's always Aser. Shmuel will hold up like Rabbi Yehuda. No, okay, I'm reading Kamei the Shmuel. Okay, Shmuel said it's svek asur atzrei ha'olam. So Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, even if it falls into the third pile, it's going to be Aser.
That's Rabbi Yehuda.
That's Rabbi Yehuda, and we want to say Shmuel holds like him. Okay, Zok the Gemara Shmuel. Now the Gemara wants to really establish Shmuel v'Amikaman. Who is really Shmuel holding like? Rabbi Yehuda. If he holds like Rabbi Yehuda, we got a problem. Because Afilu b'Shai is Surim Aser. Rabbi Yehuda says even by Shar Isurim it's gonna be Aser. Not just by Isa Avodas Kechavim. He says even by Stam Remainim it's Aser, not just by Avodas Kechavim. Because Shmuel said his din only by Avodas
Because he
Kechavim,
doesn't hold from Seika.
not by Avodas Kechavim. He was not talking about Avodas Kechavim. He was talking about Shmuel. He was talking about Truma.
Shani Sulam, he's going to say that what? That if it's, even if it's a sex faker, it's still also.
Right. So it doesn't. So but that's not what Shmuel holds. Shmuel said his din only by Avodas Kechavim.
Yeah.
He didn't say by Shar. Now, Iki Rabbi Shimon, if you're going to say by Rabbi Shimon, I feel by Avodas Kechavim, not in Shari. Rabbi Shimon says even by Avodas Kechavim it's mutter.
It's a sex faker.
It's a sex fake. It's mutter. He says. So Chita maybe going to say, oh, shining later Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon is really differentiating between Avodas Kechavim and Shari Surim. He'll hold Taka Avodas Kechavim is Asur, and he'll hold by Shari Surim is going to be mutter.
Sex faker
Is mutter by Truma, but by Avodas Kechavim when you're dealing with idol worship, that's the most severe Isur.
Right.
It's not going to be mutter. So the Gemara Al Tanya only this that we learned in the Braisa. Safek Avodas Kechavim Asura. Listen carefully. Usvek Sveika Moteris. There's a Braisa that says a Safek Avodas Kechavim is Asur, but a Svek Sveika by Avodas Kechavim is mutter. Man,
That's Chiddush?
no, that's a Braisa saying halacha. Now,
Isn't that Shmuel?
it cannot come out according to Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda says that it's always Asur, right? Safek Avodas, even by regular it's Asur. And it cannot go either according to Rabbi Shimon, because Rabbi Shimon said there's a difference. Truma Svek Sveika helps. Avodas Kechavim Svek Sveika does not help. That's what we just concluded. So this Braisa, Lo Rabbi Yehuda, Lo Rabbi Shimon, it cannot be. Yeah, so it's not Rabbi Yehuda or Rabbi Shimon. Says you want to Lo Rabbi Shimon. Really, it's Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon says, really, even by Avodas Kechavim, not like we concluded. Rabbi Shimon will hold even by Avodas Kechavim, it's going to be mutter.
Sex faker.
Svek Sveika. Shmuel said by Avodah Zarah, it's La'ila Maser. Who's he hold like? Shmuel said like Rabbi Yehuda Bechad. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda in one, meaning by Avodah Kechavim, Svek Sveika will not help. Palagalei Bechada. But Shmuel argues by Truma, like he said over here, by Truma, it will help. Okay. Mamad, the Tana said, Meiribui L'Shleisha. You remember we said, but when we spoke about the Truma, this pomegranate, we said it fell into a 10,000 group pile, and then from that pile it fell into a pile of 3. And we said, okay, it's bottled because it's bottled right. It's bottled
You're
right.
referring to what? To what?
To the Truma of the remaining.
The
The case happened was that it fell, a remaining bottom fell into 10,000.
And that's not Batal Arev?
It's no, because Sadava Shabaminyan, it's late bottle.
He didn't say what he
And
was
then
talking
it's
about. He just said only the numbers.
No, it's not. We had this Gemara before.
Where did he say?
Reminded about Masurin Kegan Sha'arla Truma. That was he brings down in the Hebrew. The same Mishnah. He's quoting that Mishnah of Trumas Hey.
He said, Rav Shimon bar Yehuda Amar Shimon Rav Shimon L'Libu Yasur L'Libu L'Shleisha
Is mutter.
L'Shleisha L'Mokamach is mutter.
Okay, the Shleisha is already mutter because it's right. Says Gemara, what's going on here? Mishleish L'Mokamach mutter. Gemara, what is going on? Ma'ishna Shleisha. What's the reason? By 3 you said it's mutter because the Ikaruba. Because it's 3 against 1. Why'd you have to say 3? 2 is also right. So why'd you have to say it was 3? What does it mean? 3. Tarte vehu. That means after it fell in, then it became 3. That's what it meant. So it's that's the right.
Why do you confuse us?
Okay. Another tenant. If you want, I can tell you a new answer who Shmuel holds like. We still have a problem. Shmuel says by Avodas Kechavim, even if it's a Svek Sveika, it will still be Aser.
There's a Braisa that says it.
Even though there's a Braisa that says it's Mutter.
Right.
So who does he hold like? Says Yimada, he holds like Sabalak and Abelazar. What does Abelazar speak about? That if there was...
How could he hold that way? If
there's a Tana, that he holds like a Tana. Not, before we said he holds like half like a Rabbi Yehuda and half not. Now we want to say, what are we doing half of? We're not learning that he holds half of somebody. We want to say he holds fully like one person. Who does he hold? Like Rabbi Lezer. What's the story with Rabbi Lezer? So he brings a case where somebody baked bread in a oven in which they had wood of Avodah Zarah. And now this bread is no good. What happened with this bread? This loaf of bread fell into a whole bunch of challahs, let's say 10,000 challahs. And then from that one, another one fell out into another 10,000. They all have to be burnt. That's it, thrown into the garbage. He loses so much challahs. So that's whom he held like. Rabbi Lazar says, but finished a case of Avodah Zarah. The oven had the wood that was that was served as idol worship. They cut from a tree this wood and they used it for heating up the oven. And he said that all any challah that was baked from there, and then it fell into 10,000, and then from there one fell into another 10,000, became svek, it doesn't matter. It's all in the garbage. Amar Ishlakish. Ishlakish said another din. Chavis shel truma. We said a sealed barrel that's one of the 6 items that are not bottled. It's a davar chashav, a sealed barrel of wine. You keep it sealed, it's chashav. And it got mixed up with 100 other chaviyas, which are mutter. One was orla or truma. It got mixed up with another 100 which were mutter. Chulin, yeah. And one barrel fell into Yam HaMelech. So right away Rashi says no, Yam HaMelech not, because it would not sink. You would know right away who it is. It has to be. So it has to be the regular ocean. It says. Hutzer kulam. Then all of them become asad. Amina hach the nafal isura nafal. The one that fell, that's the one that's isur. Because if you still see it, if nothing happened, you just take it back. It belongs in the pile. It fell down. So the Yam HaMelech, nothing sinks. So we're not talking about the Yam HaMelech. So he says to get rid of the Yam HaMelech there. Yitzich. So now we have a question. So we have Reish Lakish and Rabbi Lezer both saying the same din. I mean, Rav Nachman and Rabbi Lezer saying the same din. What do we need? Well, both dinim. Rav Nachman said the din by the rings. If one fell in, we say the Issa fell in and all the other rings are good. And here we're bringing them with the barrels. We said one fell in, one barrel fell in. He made a U-turn. He was carrying on the trailer, and one that U-turn, and it was next to the water, rolled down the ocean. So now he says that one is the Issa. So what do we need? 2 similar cases. Says Vitzer, Rav Nachman, Reish Lakish. We need Rav Nachman's case of the rings. We need Reish Lakish's case of the barrels. Even the Rav Nachman, if you learn only Rav Nachman, I would have said, I would say, listen, the case of Rav Nachman, there's no way out. There's such a big loss. There's a lot of money. It's going to the garbage. The rings, if you're going to say all the rings are no good, and there's no way out, that's terrible. So there we'll say sveka, we'll give them a loophole. We'll give them a loophole. Aval truma, but by the case of the barrels where we're talking about truma, there's still a way to save it. You sell it to a kohen, you get a lower price, but you don't lose all your money. So right there, I'll say it's not sveka won't help. I mean, even there, Shlakish, if you're going to say only the case of the rings, I would have said Chavis, I would say only Chavis. I'm sorry, Reish Lakish was Chavis. I'm sorry. So even Reish Lakish, if we would have only learned the words of Reish Lakish about barrels, I'll say, hey, barrels is not going to be bottled. You know why? Chavis the mikra the filasa. Chavis is, you could see that one is missing. It's so visible. It's so recognizable. It's a big barrel. There's missing a barrel.
Yes,
so there, because it's nicker,
but we don't know what's in the barrel.
So everybody knows that the taruvis didn't become mutter only because the barrels, the one barrel that went missing, that was the Isser. But a ring which is so tiny, you can't tell that it's missing. So people from the outside will think it looks like the same amount of rings. Loi. So I wouldn't have thought that you could be matir the taruvis even if one fell into the yam, because it's not visible to the people, and people will think it's batal b'reiv.
But we know that one fell into the yam, no?
We know, the owner knows, but not the people who are watching. So David said,
the barrel, people see
A barrel C, it's missing. It's a visible thing, but a ring is not so visible. So I would have thought, hey, not there because people say, it's batal l'rayv, and it's not true. It's not batal l'rayv. We needed to say both cases. Each one to say that it's that the one that fell in. Nevertheless, we say that's the isur and the rest are mutter. Omar Rabbi said, "Lehi to Reish Lakish ela chavis." Rabbi says, "You should know, no. Reish Lakish only allowed a barrel which is visible to the eye. That's the only time the minkan philosophy that you can recognize that it fell. So then we'll say the rest of the barrels are mutter if it fell. But one fig, we're not going to say no. People won't recognize that it's missing." If one taina of truma got mixed up with a whole bunch of figs, says He says it's just like you recognize when it fell and you made everything aser and nobody sees it and you said it's aser, give him the break. So when one falls out, say that's the isa and the rest are mutter. Rabbi Lazar said chavis yain stuma. Of a sealed barrel, we said it's a davar chashuv. It's very special sealed barrels, and it got mixed up with 100 barrels. One of Tumah with 100 barrels. So we just open one of the barrels, and when you open that one barrel, what happened? It becomes bottle. It's not chashuv. And then you drink. Now it's bottle, and then you drink just and you take out just the amount, 1 out of 100, or 101, I'll say, and you give it to the kohen because something belongs to the kohen. Yeah. It's truma. And he drinks it.
What does that accomplish?
This is just a new din. He's saying a new hira about taruves, that you are able to be mavatal by opening the barrel, because like this. It says that.
Or barrels with truma, right?
Yeah, one barrel, but it was sealed. You're right, but we don't know it's between 100. So you take out one out of 101, we call it. Of course, truma, you have to take out 1 out of 101. Yeah. Okay? So the one that was, why could you eat it? It's a davar chashuv, it's not bottled. Each one should be aser. You opened it. Yeah. It became a chashuv, it's bottled, you can have 101. Oh, that's the kasha. Yasser Abdimir, Kamal Hashmait, Amalei Abnachman. Gemaush, see? I don't understand. Abdimir was sitting and he said to the Sugya, and he said this, Hayra, but Abelazar, Abnachman said to him, Gemaush, see? What? He goes and he swallows, he drinks? What? You ever see such a thing? How could he do that? It opened on its own. And then he could take 1 out of 100. Who knows? Okay, after a while, the seal gets separated. The heat. Who knows? Rabbi Yisha had said, a sealed barrel of truma that got mixed up with 150 barrels. And 100 of them opened. Each one he takes 1 out of 150. It's 150 barrels. So it's 1 out of 100. Each one.
All the barrels.
Each one, if all of the 100 that are open, a bottle. So he could take a little bit and drink the rest of it. I mean, the kohen takes a little bit of 1 out of 150 or 151.
He's gonna get drunk.
No, the koyanim. Each kohen takes 1 out of 150, and the rest he could sell.
You need 100
he could sell. And then he drinks the rest of the chavi, so he sell it. Ushar, what about these other 50 that are closed? Asurin. It's still lost. Until he opens it. We're not going to say the Isur is in the Reiv. The Reiv, there's 100 barrels that were open. So say from the 100 barrels, though the Isur was there. Open, not kasha. You mean you opened it?
Yeah, I mean open.
Yeah, so say the Isur was already taken. So now let's take the other 50, no problem. So we said it's not like before, 60, 40. So now it's coming from the 40, right? It's coming from the 50. Here was all one batch. It didn't fall into somewhere else. So you don't say it's so it's a davar choshev. It's a davar should be minyan. Yeah, and it's still not bottled. None of them are bottled.
Oh, so you lose the 50.
You lose the 50, or you wait till it opens up on its own.
Open up more barrels?
Okay, you can't open it because it's. You're not allowed to be mevatel isla chatchila. Okay,
Talking
haroiva.
by itself.
Okay, haroiva nirva. We said about an animal that's sodomized, or a person that was sodomized by the animal, or b'muksa, or he set aside for avodah zarah, or he served avodah zarah. We went through all the, and amongst them we said treifa. So what do you do if there was a treifa mixed with a whole bunch of other animals? You let it stay in the pen to eat till it gets a mum, and then you sell it. Says you want a bishleim kulo la yediyah. It's understood. All of them, you by if it's a roiva, nirva, you can't tell which animal is which. But elahai treifa. But when you're dealing with a treifa, hey chidami, how's it talking about? If you could see that it's a treifa, go ahead and take that animal that you recognize the treifa and pull it out and finish. But if you don't know which one is the treifa, how do you know even the treifa got mixed into it? This is like Abi's normal kasha. Amri the Vei Rabbi Yanai. I'm just joking. The Chachamim said in the Yeshiva of Rabbi Yanai. Over here, what are we talking about? That there was one animal that had a wood punctured the skin, but it's still kosher, the heel right away. It's not treif. And another one was scratched by a zev, by a wolf, which has venom, and it spreads. So you can't tell which is which. The Shlakish says, it's talking about that the animal fell, and you can't see what's going on the inside of the body. On the outside, everything looks good. Says even if it's fallen, you could check if it's able to go, and if it's able to go, it's kosher, and it's you for a carbon. What's the problem? Just see if it's going to walk. You don't have to check it. It's just you see if it's injured. If it's
no puncture in the
no, now we're talking about it fell. So if it fell, that was that's how it became a teifa. You're not sure. Says you better let it check it out. If it walks, there's a halacha. If it can walk, you don't even have to check. You don't have to wait 24 hours. Says Gemara Kasava Umda. He holds that if the behemoth stood up, you still need 24 hours, even if it's not walking.
And you can't use it.
You can shecht it till you wait 24 hours. But holcha, even if it went, it walked. You still have to check out the animal afterwards to see if it's after you shechted it. So therefore, once it's geschachten, so it's mixed. So you can't tell because it got mixed. It's talking about that the baby of the treifa got mixed, and with Rabbi Lezer he follows Rabbi Lezer. It follows Rabbi Lezer, who says even though the vlad treifa is tamim, is complete, it's not sick at all, he says you can't put it on the mizbeach, Rabbi Lezer, and that's what got mixed up, the vlad treifa, and that's why we don't know which behemoth it is, which one is the vlad treifa. That's what got mixed up between the animals.
Other animals that also had blades.
No, it doesn't have. Could be. Maybe that's how. Now the Gemara wants to say why each one doesn't want to say like the other. We had three different answers. Says Gemara, didn't want to say like Rabbi Yanai that we're talking about a difference between. We couldn't tell the difference because one was stuck with a wood, and the other one was by a wolf. So he says, one could tell the difference between the two. Hi Mashich, because by an animal that gives a scratch on another animal, it's elongated. It's a long scratch. But a puncture of a piece of wood into the neck is round. Says why don't they want to say like a shakish? Kasavri, because Rabbi Yana and Rabbi Yirmiyah hold if the behemoth stood up, if it fell, it's not a teifa. You don't have to wait 24 hours. If it stood up, it's fine. And holcha, if it was walking, you don't even have to check it whatsoever. So we disagree with his opinion. Rabbi Yana and Rish Lakish didn't want to say like Rabbi Yirmiyah. Of course, Rabbi Lezer, they don't hold like Rabbi Lezer that a blood of a treifa is not permitted to go onto the mizbeach, even though it's not sick. They don't hold of that.
They hold it is.
They hold it is. That's why he didn't say these to the